Okay, so they are really leaning heavy into the Spider-Man PS4 story and the Civil War story.
Yeah, they are definitely veering in veering in the kind of a what if version of the MCU, like during Civil War.
Yeah. So we talked in an earlier episode saying that we're pretty sure it would be funnier. I think I mentioned that Harry and Peter were going to like Cap and Norman was going to like Iron Man. Shock and awe. Norman prefers the side of Iron Man. Um, I didn't know we were going to get Ross in this show at all.
Let me see who voices Thaddeus.
Do you know who he looks like, by the way? I can't think of his name off the top of my head now. Sam Elliott.
Yeah, he does.
Who played Ross in the Banna film?
That was Sam Elliott, I
Yet.
think.
That's a weird detail to me.
Yeah. He actually does kind of look like a mix between Sam Elliott and William Hurt.
Yeah. It was weird. It was a really weird turn of like, oh God, he looks like someone, and I couldn't think of it until literally just now.
Oh, so the voice is Willingham.
That makes sense. Nice. Uh, so got that. Not a whole ton happens in the beginning of this episode, other than Peter being like, "Hey, Harry and you and me should hang out because I'm not good at taking hints and blah." um. So yeah, they become better-ish friends, have a
Ish.
good ish, and have a good hangout night after he kind of tells her to just be like he's not a bad guy because if he likes me, he likes you, whatever. It's the whole thing. Um, remember when we said that Norman is basically going to be Tony for Peter in this show, and then we brought up for those that haven't read the comic book, Norman or Tony talks Peter into getting registered,
Yeah, I see where you're going with this.
and he was going to register John Gallo, which I did not know was the name of his security guard until this episode happened, which is really funny.
I actually really like that detail.
Yeah. But he's like, we've actually employed blank and blank. Somehow you didn't notice this while you were dealing with the Avengers. Uh, so yeah, that's interesting. Where he's willing to help him and track this down, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how they actually deal with if they're registering legit names of people into a database because they've openly said Steve Rogers and Captain America are like and Tony Stark. I don't know if they're going to fondle it a little where there's some heroes that don't have their names registered or names not known.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
C-
Because he like the one difference between in this universe especially, like like Spider-Man and Daredevil as like the MCU has presented them are like the only superheroes that like deeply care about their secret identity.
Yeah, it's so much that they made it a point of where that was a giant plot point of the last second and entirety of the third Spider-Man MCU movie. Uh, so yeah, that'll be interesting to see how they do that if they start in like talking more about characters in this show that specifically have secret identities and not care about the ones that don't.
Speaking
Um,
speaking of Daredevil, um, one thing that the fight that Peter and and Matt had, it reminded me of when the Punisher was introduced in Daredevil season 2.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Not quite like a 1v1 comparison, but just sort of the idea of the back and forth that they have about, you know, who's doing the right thing and how and all of that.
Yeah. What was the name of the girl that was trying to get into Osborn's top floor again?
Oh, shoot, what's her name? Um,
I'm asking because I'm legit blanking.
Give me a sec.
Cannot think of it off the top of my head because I'm wondering if it is some Daredevil type character that I completely forgot about because Daredevil then knew where to get in.
Oh, Jean.
Jean. Do we know anything else about Jean? Is her real name Karen Page?
No, she's a character named Finesse.
Finesse. Literally never heard of her. Is she
She's
associated with
affiliated
Daredevil?
with Avengers Academy, an all-female team of teenage superheroes spell out GIRL, and she's part of AIM.
Got it. Okay. Okay. All right, that's the thing. So was I the only one that thought for a hot minute that the Parker luck was going to get even worse than it normally is, but with Harry and Nico for a hot second?
Oh, that they were going to.
When they started bonding over the tarot cards before it was revealed that he has legitimately no idea what they were? Because they were
I'll
left
admit,
at the apartment.
I thought about that for like a second, but then I realized, wait a minute, no, Harry is just that dense.
Well, he's that dense, but it wouldn't be the first time if we're going to have them continuously referencing plots from already established Spider-Man properties.
Oh wait, I know where you're going with this.
Harry and MJ, I'm just saying. I was like, are you going to have, because he keeps running away, eventually these two are like, we'll hang out more. And then all of a sudden, Peter's gone all the time. And hey, since you weren't around, I got to know Harry pretty well. I think I like him because, you know, you're really bad at taking hints. But yeah, and then it's revealed that, you know, Harry just really likes having friends because he doesn't have any. But, and then Harry, in his ultra dense nature, thinks Nico knows he's Spider-Man.
You know, it was bound to happen eventually that Nico found out the secret. I just don't like that it happened. I don't like how clumsily
How we're season one flashing it right now.
Honestly, yeah.
The buck needs to stop here. Another person cannot find out his identity this season.
Yeah, we have to nip this in the bud now.
Because I don't need half the tri-state area knowing that he's Spider-Man like they started doing with Barry Allen in the first seasons of The Flash. And just because he's fucking allergic to keeping his mask on. But yeah, so you get Harry coming. You get this thing happening where Daredevil obviously breaks into the top floor, and then you get Norman investigating it. And you have Norman doing the opposite side of the exact conversation that happens in the first Marvel Spider-Man game for PS4 and now on PS5. As I mentioned this in an earlier episode, in that, didn't go into it fully. Otto and Norman started Oscorp together. Do you want to take a crack in the dark what they changed to make it seem like that company belonged to both of them?
Um,
Because it was really smart, in my opinion.
I'm trying to think what would like be the uniting factor.
If you give up, I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
It wasn't originally called Oscorp. It was called O's Corp.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Octavius Osborne.
Oscorp.
But then it just went Oscorp because then it sounds like Osborne made everything. So the reason why Peter is working with Otto, and Otto is like barely able to keep the lights on and pay like Peter through grants and other things, is because Norman took all of his research and just kicked him to the curb. And you're getting this, and then later on, to get his revenge, they made another thing that ends up being Devil's Breath that gets thrown out on the city. That was something that they had together that he chose to like make Osborn look like the bad guy finally. So now we get the opposite end of this with Osborn, where apparently, and we could have this be the same exact thing. We're just hearing Norman's end of it. We have Otto couldn't come up with anything well on his own, and like he got thrown out on the street because he was whatever, and now he's selling all the ideas that he couldn't get recognition for to try and get back at Osborn. Now somehow Norman's the good one and Otto's the villain in this situation, which in the Spider-Man PS4 game, everyone short of the Rhino had his original suit. Everyone got drastic upgrades made for them and reprogrammed by Otto. So they could try and get rid of Spider-Man so that he could get at Norman. So they're basically going 100% of the way saying now that he was the guy that made all the suits and all this. Yeah, now, this isn't also far off from what they did in Spectacular Spider-Man, where he was the thinker or the tinkerer that made, like, was behind the Sinister Six. So yeah.
Now the question I have is, well, I've got two questions. One, what does Daredevil know about Osborn? And did Norman tell Peter the truth?
I don't know. Because part of me still wants it to be good, because he also told Thaddeus that he's like, if I register this person with you, what goes on between us with this registration of this hero is classified between literally you and me. And he gives Ross a false name, which we learned is a security guard. Now, he could either be doing this because he believes Ross is a good person, or he could be doing this because he's trying to protect Peter and say, don't worry, he's not a vigilante that's disobeying the Accords. He just works for me. That's his name. He's registered. So that Thaddeus doesn't try going after Peter, who's genuinely trying to help New York.
I prefer for now to believe in the altruistic possibility.
I hope it's the altruistic. I wanted to be altruistic, then turned evil. Not evil the entire time and playing Peter.
Same.
Because if Daredevil finds something sketchy that makes Norman actually isn't doing, but it's made to look like Norman's doing it, and then he kind of goes buh afterwards, that'd be kind of nice.
Yeah, because we don't necessarily need to believe that Murdoch knows the truth. He could just be paranoid.
Which he probably does. He could also know the truth and not know what that truth thing is about.
That's true.
Norman could be hiding something, but he has no idea who's Norman's hiding it for or what Norman's hiding it about. He just knows that Norman is hiding something. But yeah, the show continues to be really good because now Nico knows, and she's not happy.
That's very much a superhero cliche where
I get that, but in this situation, Nico the entire show has been upset about Peter ditching her and feeling like he doesn't have a good reason. In my brain, Nico's train of thought would have been, oh, you weren't ditching me because you were being stupid. You're Spider-Man. You had a reason to be ditching me.
I want to see if how they handle that the fallout from that reveal in the next episode.
Because she started crying instantly. I don't know if she fears for Peter's safety, that she doesn't want her friend dying, or what? I don't know. But yeah, we'll have to see on the next one. Do you have anything else from?
I think we covered all the ground on this one.
All right. In that case, Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on all the various social media sites at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Blue Sky at Renegade Pop Culture. You can find us here on YouTube, on Podchaser. Consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. You need to escape? So do we.
Absolutely. And you can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mainly on Twitch and YouTube. If you're into conventions and such and cosplaying, you can follow my Instagram at Organoid Zero. And if you like other podcasts, you can listen to the Geeking Out podcast on Athletic Geek 89, where me and my buddy Eli just go over a single subject and talk about it for an hour. And my goal now is to make him cry hysterically, which I've been able to do twice in a row, and I'm going to try and keep that record up. So tune into that if you like it. Until next time, you'll see you all later.
Bye! Peace.